Hello, everyone. Welcome to a Podcast, episode 31. Today, we will be recapping our loss against Iowa last Friday, along with previewing our Friday night matchup against the Purdue Boilermakers. Um, to get started, we have some fun nuggets to start off today. So, first of all, I want to geek out. So, for some Big Ten pride, Commander Michael Hopkins is commanding the second official launch of crude launch, SpaceX's Crew Dragon today from Cape Canaveral, Florida. Joining with him, NASA pilot Victor Glover, NASA mission specialist Shannon Walker, along with JAXA, Japan Aerospace Exploration Agency's Suichi Noguchi tonight. So if I freak out within like 10, 13, 15 minutes, is because I'm geeking out to that. And let the nerds come in. And then from there, some more nuggets. Today, our very own Rodney Smith, grandpa, former Golden Gopher, was activated from the Carolina Panthers practice squad onto the active roster for today's game versus the Bucks. Despite losing double digits, Rodney Smith made good use of his time on the field. Twitter was blowing up about it, and playing in that game versus former Gopher teammates Tyler Johnson, T Money, and Anton Winfield Jr., Anton W. Jr. 11 on Twitter today as well. Carter Coughlin played today for the Giants, and I think Blake Cashman is still inactive, but fun day for our Gophers and the pros. Griffin, you got anything for fun nuggets for today?
I have nothing to add. I didn't know if I was supposed to bring some nuggets to the table or not.
That's all right. So to get started, we're going to recap our loss against Iowa. The only thing I took away was that we have a good punter and a kickoff specialist, like a kicker for kickoffs, and that's it. Dragon and Crawford, love you. Keep doing your thing, and that's all I have positive about that game. Now I'm going to drink my sorrows.
Who hates Iowa? Well, frankly, I still do. They still deserve to give Rosedale, but I mean, to be fair, we did not deserve it. That's very obvious. Um, is this really what our play calling is going to be the rest of the season? Are we just going to target Bateman when he's in zone coverage and find little soft spots and throw to nobody else? Are we just going to give handoffs to Mo on 3rd and 6 when you need to sustain a drive? The whole Big Ten knows that Muhammad is an absolute unit. What the heck? He's an absolute unit. But 33 carries makes any running back tired.
Yeah.
The thing that pisses me off the most is I think back the last couple of years, and these Iowa teams were all beatable. When we execute, we could beat these teams, and it's disappointing to say the least. I don't care what your culture is at this point, PJ, but at some point you got to start making these series competitive because it's getting embarrassing at this point. I mean, this year's a little different. It's a pandemic. They shouldn't really be playing anyway, but here we are, and PJ's now 1-6 in trophy games. We need to do better. Man, it's tough. Laurence?
Okay. So the game to me was summarized, and I was talking to Jason before the podcast started. It's summarized by Kirk Ferentz in the post-game press conference when asked, why did you use 3 timeouts in the last 16 seconds, saying that he figured he would leave the timeouts in Minneapolis and take Floyd with him. That is exactly where we are in this series. That is exactly what we deserve in this series. And I am 100% on the fire Mike Sanford train, because this is just not okay, right? Like you talked about the 3rd and 6 run, and I understand what PJ was doing. He was trying to that run, that outside zone was there for the purpose of setting up a 4th and short. But we lost a yard. But honestly, I am pissed off at PJ for so many more reasons. This is the 2nd year in a row against Iowa where PJ gets a unsportsmanlike penalty on him when we should be in the red zone. This is the 2nd year in a row. For me, the thing that is just horrid is this idea that we are supposed to be routinely and consistently one of the most disciplined teams, not only in the Big Ten, but in the country. And this game, we decided we are going to play our most undisciplined game in all 3 areas, all 3 phases of the game. And that upsets me. I don't what is the purpose of your culture?
Yeah.
What is the purpose of that when your biggest opponents, your biggest rivals, that is the product that you put on the field? We should have been in the area of going up 14-all at half. But stupid penalties, including from our coach, led to horrible that's me. I'm going to walk inside my house now and soak and possibly grab alcohol.
Yeah, for those that are listening or didn't tune into the game or maybe listen to this podcast maybe months, years down the line, it's the Spencer Petras interception thanks to freshman linebacker, I think James Gordon the third. Sorry, James. Where he got the ball into red zone on the Iowa 13-yard line, where we received 2 penalties, one on PJ, but also one on Mariano Story-Marin on a blindside hit to help block for James to get down to the 13-yard line. So we started pretty much back on our own territory on the 40-some yard line. And I was tilted, and Laurence, we were on a group call just to talk about it, and boy was I pissed.
I was still trying to find some video of PJ's unsportsmanlike.
Yeah,
I didn't
I
really
can't find it either.
I was trying to see where he ran onto the field, but in the camera view of the game, I really didn't see much. So I wonder if maybe there were rules established before the game by the officiating crew. I don't know. But it's, 2 years in a row. Shame on you. Don't let it happen again.
It's what he had said was once the interception had happened, he and his whole team had, sideline went crazy, and they started running onto the field kind of, and he went with them. And that's what allegedly drew the penalty. But you're an adult. You are an adult, PJ. Act like an adult in this moment, especially when you're losing by 14 points.
So I know we like to bring up Sanford in this conversation, but can we also bring up the fire Rob Wenger train as well for special teams?
I mean, they didn't screw us this weekend.
They didn't screw us this weekend, but that doesn't mean one good performance should give them a free pass.
That's
right. You're right.
We should be 2-2 if it weren't for special teams, but
this game proved we have good players.
Just not the right staff in place, pretty much, on some positions.
Now we need to prove that there's good coaching in there. And all I'm seeing right now are good players.
I see. Like we put in
beforehand.
that the true freshman corner Michael Dixon, and all of a sudden, dude was hitting that Iowa running back, and I was like, where have you been all season? Why, PJ? Why is this dude? He all of a sudden he starts putting in like true freshman Donald Willis. Wait, we got linebackers who will catch the ball. Where has this been, PJ?
Yeah, like some of the true freshmen, redshirt freshmen, like also Cody Lindenberg. We're like, where have they been all season?
like they are there, and when PJ said in the press conference that one of the excuses that totally wasn't an excuse but was definitely an excuse, when he says Mariano Sori-Marin, he got ejected. And also, really quick, fire the officiating crew, but that's not my business. Anyway, he says, Mariano, he is the anchor of our defense. And I'm like, if Mariano Sori-Marin is the anchor of this defense, we got some problems. If that is the standard bearer of your defense, of your linebacker play, we gonna have some problems. It looks like Jordan Howden reverted back to being Jordan Howden, 2018 Jordan Howden, so to speak. So
also,
I don't know. Yes.
Also, I have to give props to when St. Jude was out. I think Philip Howard filled in for him. I know he got burned that first half of the game, but from then on, like Philip Howard held his own, and I
got a bone to pick with Philip Howard.
Okay.
When you're playing defensive back, homie, can you turn your head so you can pick off a pass that Spencer Petras did not put anything on?
None whatsoever.
Like, turn your head, play the ball.
Can you imagine if Antoine was? Man, that would have been a house call. That would have been a house call. I know the exact play you talk about too, Griffin. I'm just like, what made it like I had said coming into the game, where I'm like, look, if Spencer Petras wants to put on a Heisman performance, so be it. I don't care. Like, fine. If he's gonna do it, yes, I will take that L. But the fact is, Spencer Petras looked bad. He looked bad. And it didn't matter.
And what did we talk about on the last podcast? What was the key to the game?
They can beat us.
Spencer Petras. Hit him hard. Throw 6 blitzes on a 4-down drive, even though that's not possible. I don't care.
Throw it 6 because it's going to be extended by at least 2 roughing the passers. So who knows?
No, but
the sad part was it didn't even look like we wanted to hit him. They were just they were staying back the entire game. It didn't look like we wanted to play the run, which is what we knew they'd do to win the game. But it was easy to carve our defense. What? Oh, yeah, Jason's here.
Oh, sorry.
I don't care about your joy right now, Jason. We're angsty Gopher fans.
Okay, I'm back to being angsty now.
Our D-line was manhandled by a subpar Iowa offensive line.
Okay, I'm not going to say it was subpar, because they do got 2 All-Americans on that offensive line. And Alaric Jackson is an All-American, probably going to be a first-round pick. Well, and they have arguably the best center in the Big Ten. But
I don't care. I'm going to throw some disrespect their way. I'm mad.
And they'll throw disrespect right back at us by running the same play again and again. They didn't even have to switch up their defensive coverages. They're just like, look, we're just gonna play 6 dudes in the box we gonna have two safeties. That's what we gonna do. That's we know you're just gonna throw to Rashad. We know it.
They use
We know
pretzel ball against us.
We also know that your quarterback is going to underthrow everything. We know it. We know that Chris Bale can be wide open down the middle, and you're still going to Daniel Jones trip. We know it. Man, like their game plan was literally like, we are going to let anyone not named Muhammad Ibrahim and Rashad Bateman beat us. And that's exactly what they did. And that is so disrespectful. And it's exactly how every team is going to play us.
Also, if we're throwing shade to like their offensive line, I know Griffin wants to. I'm going to throw shade on ours. Pretty much Iowa's D line, they just like hands on the offensive lineman, and then once Mo makes his cutback, they just easily shut off their blocks.
Because I know what he's gonna do. They got 4 weeks. They know what his running style is, and they know that we're not gonna do anything creative with him.
Yep.
Inside zone, outside zone, right? Like that. We are not Wisconsin. We do not have the offensive line depth of Wisconsin, where we can say against just about anyone not named Ohio State, we are going to line up, we are going to run the ball inside zone down your throat, and you're gonna like it. You're going to say thank you. Can I have another? We are not there. Yeah. We were there kind of last year. We are not there this year. And if we are just going to, any team that has any type of discipline, which Iowa, they have discipline. Northwestern, they invented discipline because they are not talented. It's basically, Northwestern is the closest thing to playing one of the military schools, but in the Big Ten. They're not talented. They're just better than you. And then like Wisconsin, they missed like 6 starters on defense yesterday,
and they still
not only they won by 38 points.
Yep.
At Michigan. With far less talent than Michigan has, mind you, far less talent. So like some of the excuses that I see that we make in regards to COVID, in regards to opt-outs, in regards to people being out, like Wisconsin doesn't make those excuses. Northwestern doesn't make those excuses. I think 3 of their 4 best players all opted out.
Even Purdue, with Rondale out, they don't make excuses.
Rondale, look, they're not making excuses. They just say, okay, Rondale's out. David Bell, go hunting. Yep. They freaking yesterday, even though they lost, their running back had 100 yards receiving.
Horvath, right?
Yep. They said, oh, well, Rondale, somebody else got to catch the ball. And Horvath, catch it. Right? Like, and apparently we still don't know what a tight end is.
Rip Keefe and Bryce Witham and Britton Spanford and Jake Paulson.
Like, this, what pisses me off so much about right now is, like, we are going to wait. I don't know who's coming back next year on this offense especially. Like, I am very confident that the defense is going to be better next year. Very confident about that.
Especially the guys who are starting early or playing early.
Like, the guys who are starting early, I look at our corners that we are bringing in, assuming that we're able to keep the best corner that we have in this class in Avante Dickerson. I pray that we're able to keep him because that dude is different. You can put him at corner, you can put him at wide receiver, and I repeat, that dude is different. His speed, he's gone. But like, I'm very confident that the defense is going to get better. Cool, great.
So
But
is
like this offense, huh?
so is Avante in your eyes? It's kind of like a Rashad Bateman, but for our defense. Because remember how Rashad came in? He
Avante to me is like Carter Coughlin,
got
but
it.
in the secondary. Like he is that dude who could hold it down for years. His speed is ridiculous on both sides of the ball. Like not yesterday, on Friday in their state semifinal game, they were down, and some poor fool decided to do a kickoff to Avante.
Oof.
97 yards later, like, and you literally knew, like, you could see on the sideline, the coaching staff were like, oh, they're actually going to kick it to him. Oh, they don't know. They don't know. They don't know. And he hit a second gear, and I'm like, this dude right now would be the fastest dude on our team. And it's not close. Like, you had, like, I don't even understand how the heck he got behind these people so fast. Like, he just got the ball and he was going. Anyway, that's ridiculous. In fact, all three of our corners recruits, Avante, Stephen Ortiz Jr., and Justin Whaley, all three of them are leading undefeated teams.
Mm.
All three of them.
Spice. I like that. I like that. I like it.
Our third corner, the corner who's the lowest ranked, is currently Mississippi's Player of the Year in 6A. In the largest class, he's the Player of the Year. Like, that's where we are. But I'm like, can we keep these dudes? What do you say? Are you going to say, oh, it's COVID? Okay, everyone else is dealing with COVID. The freaking nerd school Northwestern is dealing with COVID, and they're fielding a top 15 team. Rant. I'm sorry. That was my rant. I'm mad.
So, do we want to move on to the next game then?
Yes.
All right. So we have another Friday night matchup, our third one.
No.
Yeah, I'm not joking. So it's a 6:30 p.m. kickoff at home at TCF Bank Stadium on Big Ten Network. It'll be aired, I guess, at Big Ten Network BTN on the radio at 100.3 KFAN, and live streamed the radio broadcast on YouTube from Gopher Sports, which will feature our very own Pride of Minnesota. Love to them, with pregame, national anthem, and halftime, and some other shorts and stand tunes. So tune into that. Against right now, I believe, I can't find. I lost track of the record. The Purdue Boilermakers, and they're favored by like 65% on ESPN's FPI. Betting odds, they're favoring Purdue by -3. Yeah, that's all I got. So, what is our keys to the game to win this?
Well, first, we just have to show up. And then two, execute. You can't even get into detail anymore.
Yeah.
Okay. Fun fact, we won 6 of the last 7 against Purdue, and only 3 of those wins we were favored. I don't know if you remember this, but we were heavy underdogs in 2018 when Purdue walked in with Rondale Moore after just delivering Ohio State its head and taking Iowa and dragging them up and down Kinnick. They walked into Minneapolis after we had just got
Slaughtered by
dragged
Carolina.
up and down. Yep, just got slaughtered, just embarrassed. And I was like, we are about to take.
Fired too.
That is true. Maybe we can fire Mike Sanford this weekend, man. They walked in, and the age of Rossi began by ending all of them with 31 points. So, like, okay. Purdue, to me, is always going to be not always, but at this very moment, it is going to be a matchup problem favoring us, which is to say we should win this game. Why? Because their D line is still undersized. Their D line is still undersized. And if we can run on Iowa, we can run on Purdue. That's the first thing. Their D line is undersized, but they're gonna stack the box. They are going to put 7, 8 hash in the box and dare us. They're gonna friggin' bracket Rashad and say throw to literally anyone else. Now, if we remember last year, one Tanner Morgan broke the Big Ten efficiency.
Was it 21
21 for 22 for darn near 400 yards and 4 touchdowns. That was last year, Tanner.
Mind you, those touchdowns were Rashad, Chris Ottman-Bell, Tyler Johnson, variety of receivers.
Yes, he was just throwing it. We gonna throw it to you. We gonna throw it to you. We gonna throw it to you. He had a few rollouts where he hit the tight ends. I was like, what? These are things that happen. This is a game where I'm like, all indications will say that we should lose. But the strength of our defense is our corners. The strength of their offense is their wide receivers. This is basically a reverse Iowa game. This is a reverse Iowa game for me because our strength on offense was their strength on defense. And I don't trust their running game too much. Yes, they do have the third leading rusher in the Big Ten, but the third leading rusher in the Big Ten has about 400 less yards than Mohammed.
I think 8 or 9 less touchdowns too.
But we will make him look better than he is because we are last in run defense.
Mm-hmm.
Of course. I fully expect him to run for 150 yards and 2 touchdowns. Fully expect that. But still, that's not the game that they want to play, though, which is the issue. Iowa was very content just playing trestle ball. They are very content with it. But the thing is with Iowa was they were like, you can't run it on us. you can't run it on us. So we will get up by 14, and we're going to watch you squirm for the next 3 quarters. The thing is, we could run on Iowa. Not a lot, but we could run on Iowa. Against Purdue, we can run on them. So their quarterback is also leading the Big Ten in passing yards, by the way, which is he's doing a reverse. He's Tanner Morgan. He is Tanner Morgan of this year. So I don't know. To me, this is a matchup where it favors the Gophers based completely on the style of play that we do. And we're still going to get blown out. So.
Yep. So, I know Lorenz and I were, to put it bluntly, bitching about this on Friday night. Will we still see Tanner this coming Friday? Or are we going to see maybe Zach Annexstad, who was a starter for 6-7 games a couple years ago, who had a foot injury last year that made him lose the starting job or competition? We do have redshirt freshman Jacob Clark, who has been to all the games. 6'5", who threw a very nice dime. Heck, he has the arm in that Maryland game when he mopped up there. Cole Kramer, dual threat out of, I think, was it Eden Prairie?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to say it. We're still going to see Tanner. PJ is going to stick with him. But I know I'll be angry because, we have guys behind him that can probably do better. But I know I was ripping about it on Friday night with Laurence on the call and mentioned it on the group, but I don't know about you
I
guys.
I fully expect to see Tanner in there for 60 minutes, undoubtedly. Um, PJ is kind of stubborn in his ways where he doesn't want to just take people out. If they're the starter, they're the starter. They have the job. End of story. So I don't see Clark, Kramer, Annexted making an appearance. The only way is they might take away some of the plays that would involve Tanner Morgan, i.e., anything passing. Uh, that's how I see it. I think that's how he's going to see it as well. And if it doesn't matter how bad, well, to an extent, it doesn't matter how bad Tanner's playing. We are going to lose by whatever way PJ wants to play this game.
And I wonder if it's the same scenario that we went through with, because let's be clear, all four of these quarterbacks are not going to be here next year. We are we are bringing in another 4-star quarterback with Ethan Kaliakmanis. I cannot say his last name. I'm pretty sure that's at least serviceable. We are bringing in another 4-star quarterback next year. If this year doesn't count at all, that means our quarterback room will have Tanner Morgan, Zach Annexton, Cole Kramer, Jacob Clark, and Ethan. Not all four of these dudes is going to be here.
Also, we still have like 2-3 walk-on quarterbacks.
And they don't matter. They matter, but they don't.
It's gonna be a crowded room.
It's crowded. They are not all going to be here. And at this point, so like we're out of contention in the West. We are. And yet, what is the purpose now? Like Tanner has lost his confidence. Like the one thing that I've never saw from Tanner last year really was him just looking scared. Like this dude would hold the ball too long and get smacked last year, but he would hold the ball if he was like, yo, I'm going to throw this touchdown. I don't care. Right? That was the Tanner of 2019. That Penn State game with Micah Parsons coming right at his face, he says, I'm going to throw this down to Tyler Johnson down the field. I'm just going to do it. With Outback Bowl, with what's his name? Derek Brown of Auburn, literally in his back pocket. Let me just throw this floater up to this tight end to end this game. Like, that was the Tanner of 2019. And I don't know how you all feel about this, but I feel like there is weight. I feel like part of what's ailing Tanner is the amount of pressure that's being put on him. In this idea that we have a young defense and we have to rely on Tanner and this offense to keep us in games. Whereas last year we fielded a top 10 defense, and for a while it was Tanner, don't mess this up.
Which worked out mostly for us last year.
It did, and like it allowed Tanner to grow, right? Because like the South Dakota game, Tanner is very, 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 very different from the Tanner that we had by Penn State. Even against Iowa last year on the road with AJ Epinesa literally just coming at him, Tanner was throwing bombs. And he didn't care. He was throwing bombs. And frankly, if Tyler Johnson doesn't drop the game-winning touchdown, Tanner would have won that game. Right?
Yep.
But this is not the Tanner that we had last year, and that's really sad. I don't know what happened to him.
Coaching. Plain and simple.
Like, how does coaching Like, okay, like if he was,
We know Tanner Morgan is not as bad as he looked right now.
no,
I don't know what Kirk Shiraka did, but it worked for Tanner Morgan, and it's not working for Sean Clifford.
Yep.
It's really not. So
I'm like, can we seriously just like say, yo, Penn State, we know y'all don't like this play calling. You want to give them back? You want to give Kirk back, please? Continue. Sorry.
no, it's just me thinking. I want to know what Kirk did because it worked. I don't know the specifics. I don't know what meetings and video were like for them, but it worked. He was confident. He threw passes with zip on them. He started out the year holding the ball, like you said, but then when he actually stepped into passes, felt comfortable in the pocket, trusted his own line, he was making throws as good as any college quarterback, and his stats reflected that. They really did. You saw him top 5 in passing efficiency or whatnot, or
In the nation.
and then we're talking nation. He's up on the list with Justin Fields.
Also, the thing that when I see us play, I know Laurence and I did joke about this, but in all seriousness, the bread and butter that made our team last year, especially in the passing game, was the slant. Because to quote Glenn Mason, Minnesota runs the best slants in the entire nation, and there's no slants at all. I'm not sure if like Matt Simon's input at all is not coming through, or is this just legitimately Mike Sanford's offense? Because when I see Matt Simon call plays, it's like a mini Kirk Shiraka. That's what happened against the Outback Bowl, and he did use tight ends. And I know Laurence is go harp. Do we have tight ends still?
Wisconsin does.
Yes, they do. Like I don't know at this point. Like I don't see what made our offense in like the past 3 seasons. Like even though we did go 5-7, 7-6, and then 11-2, you know, our offense still remained with his bread and butter inside and some outside zone in the run game. The screen game, throwing it to Mo, or back then was Shannon Brooks and Rodney Smith, and then using Tyler and Rashad, Chris when he was there, or Demetrius when he was there, which makes me miss Demetrius even more. But you know, I don't see that offense anymore, and I don't know what to say. Like I'm already saying it. We're losing. I don't know what score. I'm like, deuces. I'm out.
Speaking of screens, have we seen at least one bubble screen this year?
We have not.
Nope.
You know what we have seen? Inside zone, outside zone, right? Can someone tell me who lied to either PJ Fleck, Mike Sanford, or Matt Simon and told him that Rashad Bateman is a slot receiver? Who lied to them? Whose house do I need to find? Because they have not lined Rashad Bateman where he is supposed to be, where he has meant to be, where he was born to be.
You know why he's not where he's supposed to be? Because our pocket doesn't give Morgan enough time to make the play.
Oh, but for me that doesn't matter, right? And it doesn't matter because I'm like this. Look, you are going to take a safety with Rashad Bateman. It's just gonna happen, right? Chris Bell can run a slant very well. Why are you putting Chris on the outside? Why is Chris on the outside? No one is paying attention to Chris. No one's paying attention to Chris. Why are you putting Daniel Jackson on the outside? Put these dudes on the inside because a safety is going with Rashad, and let them develop, because you cannot get players better without them actually getting meaningful reps, i.e. the ball is coming to you.
Yep.
But if you're going to force feed Rashad Bateman the ball on the inside, where all of the things that makes him such an elite receiver disappear, his speed, his yak, all of that stuff, his incredible route running disappears, because you aren't going to have any good route development. He's not going to be able to hit full speed. So you are taking away your best weapon for your opponent. And by taking away your best weapon, you also take away Chris and Daniel Jackson and whoever else. So I'm mad.
Also, I know we talked about this way back in the Outback Bowl. Like, you know, we have tight ends. I was like, I know Laurent was originally on the Brevin Spanford train way before that, but I was like, you know, we have guys, we have talented guys, both on offense and defense. We said this often. We have talented personnel on this roster. It's just
And then every time they have a designed play for them. Example, Nebraska last year, Jake Paulson decides to drop it when he has 50 yards clear to the end zone.
all right.
Wow, we really given up. I've given up. My spirit is broken.
All right, let's use our broken spirits and give us a prediction. I'm saying it. We are losing to Purdue 49 to 28.
You think we're going to put up 28?
Yes. Garbage time. Garbage
That
time
was
28.
when I had confidence.
49 to 28, giving Rondé, who may be active, a couple tutties, David Bell a couple of tutties, and a Horvath tutties, and call it game.
Do not say that name. Do not say Rondo. Don't say no.
I already said it because I'm done. I'm out.
I don't want to see him. I don't want to see that man. We don't want those problems. He already mad at us. He already mad. I know you gonna put Michael Dixon on Rondell Moore. Is that what we want to do? Are these the problems? Okay. Is Benjamin St. Juice gonna be back? What happened to him?
I don't know.
Wait, sorry, who are you talking about?
Benjamin St. Juice.
He was.
I have no idea.
I saw like posts from Annie Greeter saying Benjamin St. Juice was out for the game, but that's about it on Twitter. Of course, PJ's being very much on the DL on what's going on with some of the players. It was obvious on special teams like Mark Crawford, Grant Ryerson, Dragon, and Michael Lance that they were living together. So contact tracing with COVID, fairly obvious. I don't know about St. Juiced.
Also, presumably, Michael Lance was healthy yesterday, or on Friday, correct?
That is correct, yes.
Why is Brock Walker kicking?
With a sports hernia.
Yep.
Ah!
Hashtag fire Rob Wenger.
Fire Rob Wenger. Fire Mike Sanford. Just, you know what? South Carolina just fired Will Muschamp. Can we hire him? I'm starting to see it now. The inequities in how universities have money or give money to athletics. Because we are not paying our head coach. We are not paying our assistants nearly as much.
Nope.
nearly as much as other places. I'm just praying that Penn State fires Kirk Shiraka so he can come back home. Come home, Kirk. I'm going to say this, and I'm going to say it because I prayed about it. 28 Gophers, 25 Purdue. Look, I watched that Illinois game that Purdue played. Illinois was supposed to win that game.
True.
Okay. So I'm a glutton for punishment. This is a match. I knew Iowa was going to be a matchup problem for us. I think truly this game is a matchup problem for Purdue. Because if we get ahead, our offensive line is going to lean on them all night. Just lean on them. So that's where I'm at.
Right.
Laurent, before I get to my prediction, I find it interesting how you bring up the inequities in athletic performance for money because I don't know if y'all saw this, but over the summer, we all know athletic departments across the country had to start making changes. So they were cutting sports, obviously including our own, but Iowa had to cut, well, they cut 4 sports, men's and women's swimming, tennis and men's gymnastics. So 4 sports. Throughout those cuts, there were still 10 on-field assistant coaches at Iowa that received raises between $40,000 and $90,000 for the 2021 season. And that's before their 10% pay cut reduction came into effect. So now Iowa football coaches in a shortened 8-game season, plus whatever the bowl they might play in, 9, will take home slightly more this year than last year. Just something to think about. If there's another reason to hate Iowa, there's one.
I mean, I was just hating him because y'all remember that was their strength and conditioning coach getting fired because the players coming back and saying how he was being so incredibly racist. We remember that? Do we remember this?
Oh, yes, we do.
Oh, yeah. They had a $1.1 million settlement.
Yeah, do we remember the fact that one Brian Ferentz was the other one who was mentioned in that settlement for being incredibly racist? But he's not getting fired. Why? Nepotism.
Nepotism.
Don't you love it? I wish Wyatt was here to go up on nepotism. Yeah,
Also,
no, I hate
for our listeners, Wyatt's out due to other pressing concerns in our normal lives, so that's why he's not here. But
contact tracing with sadness.
We love him. We love Wyatt. So love you, Wyatt.
We love you, Wyatt. We only wish Gopher football would love you back and provide you wins. Griffin, what's gonna happen this Friday?
30 for the Choo-Choos. 16 for the Gophers.
So how do we score? How do we score with the 16?
3 field goals, baby.
You assume, wait.
3 for 3, Brock Walker inside the 40.
With a sports hernia?
Okay. You betcha.
Hey, that would be a legendary performance. I ain't gonna lie. That'd be legendary. Who scores the touchdown? Is it a throw or a run?
Run. Outside zone, 5 yards.
Y'all remember when Seth... Okay, this is my last thing because I'm sad. I want to make some pot stickers, but like, do we remember in 2018 when we were the youngest team in America,
52,
and we were still throwing caution to the wind with some of these offensive play calls that we were doing? Like, I remember at Nebraska, the double reverse pass to Seth Green. I remember the flea flickers. I remember Seth Green throwing the ball down the field against Iowa.
I remember watching your face during the Nebraska game, Laurens. That was probably the funniest part.
Huh?
I was watching your face the whole Nebraska game.
Oh, yeah, no, it was absolutely horrible. Everything was bad. I was like, why is Rob Smith still employed? But, like, I remember when all of these things happened, and the one thing that I never said was, the offense is going to lose us this game.
True.
The offense is really going to lose us this game. Never said that. I said that back in 2017, back when we had Demery frickin' Croft and Connor Rhoda. But I'm like this, look, at least Demery Croft can run. Whatever is happening right now, like, someone needs to, I don't know what PJ Fleck is doing right now, but I really pray that he, after that positive press conference thing that he does, I hope that he went into, got his assistant coaches and ripped everyone a new one. I pray that that happens. That's it.
So then, to wrap up, of course, we're all from Minneapolis, and Laurens is from from the Chicago area. Monday Night Football is tomorrow. Vikings versus Bears. I'm saying the Vikings are going to lose to Saint Nick Foles because I don't trust Kirk Cousins. Let my heart continue.
Look, go Bears. The Vikings are who we thought they are. They are exactly who I thought they are. Bad. Just shut down Dalvin Cook. Dalvin Cook is basically Muhammad Ibrahim. Shut him down. Make Kirk beat you because he can't.
Nope.
There you go. I just gave you all the defensive game plan. You're welcome.
All right, and we're going to end our podcast here. So thank you for all of us joining in for today's live stream or listening via off air on Spotify, SoundCloud, YouTube, and anywhere else you may listen to your podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Jason O.
I am Laurens Fire Mike Sanford yesterday, Guider.
And Griffin Fire Rob Winger tomorrow.
And we'll see y'all next weekend for another podcast. And
oh.